Haribol, Haribol. My Dandavat pranams to all of you. Hare Krishna, Haribol. So, March 22nd, day 3 of our Navadvipa Parikrama, and we're going to Godrumadvipa and Madhyadvipa. 2 islands we'll cover today. Yesterday we also covered 2 islands, Koladvipa and Rudradvipa. So we're really covering our Brajamandal Parikrama. So today, coming to Godrumadvipa, of course, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's place, his land, and we'll sing a very beautiful bhajan, Badasukya Kabul Gai, and this is on page 16 of the little PDF that I've sent you, and if you want to follow, that'll be nice. Every single day when I'm sitting here, so many Parikrama parties come in, and every day they sing this particular bhajan, which is focusing on Surabhikunj, which is where we are, of course. So we'll sing this bhajan, and then we'll carry on talking about Godrumadvipa. Badasuke kabogai, badasuke kabogai,
Badasuke kabogai, badasuke kabogai,
badasuke kabogai, badasuke kabogai,
badasuke kabogai, badasuke kabogai.
Surabhikunjete namahata kuleche, Surabhikunjete namah,
Hata kulache,
Surabhikunjete namahata kulache,
Surabhikunjete namahata kulache,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Paramoja kota tai, Bajamoja kota tai,
Badamoja kotai tai, Badamoja kotai tai,
Badamoja kota tai, Bajamoja kota tai,
Badamoja kotai tai, Badamoja kotai tai.
Shraddha Moya Shraddha Nam Se Hatyate Ki Kaye, Shraddha Moya Shraddha Nam Se Hatyate Vikaye, Shraddha Moya Shraddha Nam Se Hatyate Vikaye.
Sadamule Shuddha Nam Sheyartate Bhikai.
Kodanitai, 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 Kodanitai. Jata Bhakta Vrindavasi, 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 Jata Bhakta Vrindavasi,
Jata Bhakta Vrindavasi.
Adhikari dekhe naam beche durakashi, Adhikari dekhe naam beche durakashi, Adhikari dekhe naam beche durakashi,
Adhikari dekhe naam dekhe dharakashi.
Kodanitai, 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 Kodanitai. Jaranama Kunde Bhai, Jaranama Kunde Bhai, Jaranama Kunde Bhai, Jaranama Kunde Bhai, Jarinam Kunde Bhai, Jarinam Kunde Bhai,
Jadinam Kinde Bhai, Jadinam Kinde Bhai.
Amare Sangela Chalo Mahajana Kache Jo,
Amar Sange Chalo Mahajan Kache Jai.
Amara Sangela Mahajana Kache Jai, Amara Sangala
महाजने काचे जाय
Kaunitai, Kauranitai, 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 Kauranitai. Tumikimbe Krishna Nam, 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 Tumikimbe Krishna Nam,
Tumikimbe Krishna Nam, Tumikimbe Krishna Nam.
Dasturi loibe ami purna habe kam, Dasturi loibe ami purna habe kam, Dasturi loibe ami purna habe kam, Dasturi loibe ami purna
habe kam.
Kaunitai, Kauranitai, 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 Kauranitai. Baradoila Nityananda, Baradoila Nityananda,
Baradoya
Nityananda, Baradoya Nityananda, Baradoya Nityananda, Baradoya Nityananda,
Baradoya
Nityananda,
Baradoya Nityananda.
Radhamatra Loideno Parama Ananda, Radhamatra Loideno Parama Ananda, Radhamatra Loideno Parama Ananda, Radhamatra Loideno Parama Ananda. Koranitai, 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 Koranitai. एक बार देखे जाके जाओ, एक बार देखे जाके जाओ,
एक बार देख ले सबसे जाल, एक बार देख ले सबसे जाल,
एक बार देख ले जाके खाओ, एक बार देख ले जाके खाओ,
एक बार देख ले सबसे जाल, एक बार देख ले सबसे जाल.
Gora bole nitya dena shakala sambha,
गौर
bole nitya dena sakala sambha, Gora bol nitya dena sakala sambha, Gora bol nitya dena sakala sambha, Gora nitai, 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 Gora nitai. Janashuddha Krishna Shiksha, Janashuddha Krishna Shiksha, Janashuddha Krishna Shiksha,
दिन शुद्धा कृष्ण शिक्षा,
Janashuddha Krishna Shiksha, Janashuddha Krishna Shiksha,
दिन शुद्धा कृष्ण शिक्षा, दिन शुद्धा कृष्ण शिक्षा.
Jati dane vidya bal na kare apeksha,
जाति दान विद्या बल न करे अपेक्षा,
Jati dana vidya bal na chalike apeksha.
जाति दान विद्या बल न करे अपेक्षा.
Gauranitai, 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 Gauranitai. Amanicha de Maya Jal, Amanicha Maya Jal,
अमनिचा दे माया जाल, अमनिचा दे माया जाल,
Amanicha de Maya Jal, Amanicha de Maya Jal.
अमनिचा दे माया जाल, अमनिचा दे माया जाल.
Grihe tako vane tako natake janjal.
गृहे ताको वने ताको न काटे जंजाल,
Grihe tako vane tako natake janjal.
गृहे ताको वने ताको न काटे बंजाल.
Gauranitai, 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 Gauranitai. Adonai Kyo Kilir Bai, Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai,
Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai, Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai,
Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai, Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai,
Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai, Adonai Kyo Kalir Bai.
Achandale Dene Nam Nikai Doyamai,
Achandale Din Nam Nitai Jayamai,
Achandale Dena Nam Nikai Doyamai,
Achandale Din Nam Nitai Jayamai,
Nitai, Kora 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 Nitai. Bhaktivinoda ke koi, Bhaktivinoda ke koi,
Bhaktivinoda ki koi, Bhaktivinoda ki koi,
Bhaktivinoda ke koi, Bhaktivinoda ke koi.
Bhaktivinoda ki koi, Bhaktivinoda ki koi.
Nita Chanda Charana Arunaya Ashray,
Nita Chande Charna Bina Anahi Ashray,
Nitya Chanda Charana Vina Arunahi Ashray.
Nita Chande Charna Bina Anahi Ashray,
Gauranitai, Gauranitai,
Godanitai, Godanitai,
Gauranitai, Gauranitai.
Godanitai, Godanitai.
Barsuke Kabugai, Barsuke Kabugai,
Bad Sukhe Kabur Gai, Bad Sukhe Kabur Gai.
Surabi Kunjete Nama Hata Kuleche,
Surabi Kunjete Namer Hata Kulache,
Surabi Kunjete Nam Hata Kuleche,
Surabi Kunjete Nam Hata Kulache.
Gauranitai, Gauranitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai,
Gauranitai, Gauranitai,
Kodanitai, Kodanitai.
Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur.
Jaya Nita, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nita, Jaya Gaur.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaura Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai.
Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai,
Oh Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, oh Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari,
Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari.
Gaura He, 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 Gaura He. Oh Jaya Radha Madhava Madana Mohan Radhe,
Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe,
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe,
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Vinod Vihari Radha Vinod Vihari Radhe,
Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Oh Radhe, 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 Radhe. Go Premanandi, Jai
Hari
Shishi
Hari
Guru
Bol.
Garanga Ganhabika Giridhari, Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Shri
Jai.
Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai, Shri Radha Gopinath Ju Ki Jai, Shri Radha Binod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Brisha Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad, Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Shila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Vedantaracharya Ki Jai. And Jai Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Shila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Paradasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsadi Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Siga Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautam Dvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritujip Janadvip Modandvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radhakun Shamakun Ganga Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai,
Jai.
Shrimati Yoga Maya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shri Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai,
Jai.
Ketra Mandal Ki Jai,
Jai.
Sarva Vigna Vinashakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai,
Jai.
Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai,
Jai.
Charidam Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai, Chari Acharya Ki Jai, Akaramat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Devananda Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagat Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Priya Surupe, Daita Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhueka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavartino Kalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratu Dikatamba Sadipita Sadahridare Kandare Spudatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apetykrityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarvo Vinirustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparara Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadita Rangamadye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharadram Tato Mamanasti Katyana Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarapaya Rupanuga Vrayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnav and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhabevicha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. Can you turn your phone off? That'll be best. So, we regularly chant this beautiful bhajan in Godrumadvipa when we first come here, celebrating the speciality of this Surabhi Kunj. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a beautiful book, Godrum Kalpatavi. And we'll just look at that also, but we'll just read this translation and appreciate Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood of living here. I'm singing news of great happiness. At Surabhi Kunj, Sri Nityananda Prabhu has opened a marketplace of the holy name right here. It is a matter of great bliss that he is selling the pure holy name at that marketplace for merely the price of one's faith. This is the price. After examining the qualification of everyone in the assembly of devotees waiting to purchase the holy name, he bargains for the proper price with each person. It's a very individual bargaining process. No two people have exactly the same Nishna. My dear brothers, if you want to purchase the pure holy name, then come with me to meet this magnanimous personality. You will purchase the pure holy name. I shall take my due commission, and all our desires will be fulfilled. A good business arrangement. The salesman is happy and the customer is happy. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is extraordinarily merciful. Merely for the price of one's faith, he bestows the topmost divine bliss. If Nitai only once sees tears welling in the eyes of someone chanting the name of Gora, he gives his full support to that person. He gives that person genuine teachings about Sri Krishna, not imposing any conditions in regard to caste, wealth, or strength of knowledge. The snares of Maya are immediately released, so one may remain either at home as a householder or in the forest as a renunciant, for no more troubles remain. There is no longer any need to fear the age of Kali, for the munificent Nitai gives the holy name to everyone, even the lowest among men. Bhaktivinoda loudly proclaims to all, besides the lotus feet of Sri Nitai Chand, there is no other shelter. So Nityananda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is celebrating from this place. Actually, he wrote this book that we're going to look at, this Godrum Kalpatavi, 1 year before he came here. But he marketed it here. While he was here, he was propagating this mood. And it's a real blueprint for preachers to plan their strategy Bhaktivinoda Thakur had this complete conception of it literally being a marketplace for the holy name. And he describes, first of all, what is the storehouse of this holy name? What is the Bandara? The Bandara is the great scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam itself is the Bandara. That's the storehouse of the holy name. We're learning to um, submit to Krishna on all levels when we embrace Srimad Bhagavatam, from the first canto through to the 12th canto. All are opportunities to come closer and closer and closer to Krishna, especially the 10th canto, of course. And then, who is the principal trader? The Mul Mahajan is the owner of the goods, is Sri Nityananda himself. And we've talked about this a lot, that Nityananda is propagating the holy name to bring us to Mahaprabhu. And it's from Mahaprabhu that we will get that Braja Prem. Nityananda is pointing us in the direction. Heino Nitai Bine Bai Radha Krishna Paite Nai. Nityananda is not giving the Braj Prem himself. He is praying for that soul's purification through chanting the holy name, that he will automatically seek out the Supreme Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And through his mercy, then he will come to Brajadam. This is the sequence. We should appreciate it. There are some who just worship Nitai, but how is that going to be completely beneficial? If you just worship Nitai, that's okay, then you will get Sakya-ras. Nitai, in his mood of Madhurya, is Anangamanjari, but that's not the same as Nityananda, even though that's his identity internally, but externally that is not who he is. He is Nityananda. That's who he is. It's like Mahaprabhu is always Krishna, but he's taking the mood and kanti of Sri Radhika, but he never actually becomes Radhika. Similarly, Nityananda, he can never become in that manifestation Anangamanjari. Internally, he is Anangamanjari, but Anangamanjari, she has her own pastimes with Krishna. And whenever we see Radha and Krishna together, Baladev will never be there. So how could that be that Nityananda is actually in an identity of Anangamanjari when he's practically prohibited to be in the company with Radha and Krishna alone together? How could it be? It can't. You understand? Whenever Baladev walks on Govardhan, he leaves a white crystal rock behind him. And if Radhika, she spies that, oh, Baladev was there, Naubai, going that way, she will go the other way automatically. And Radhika, she leaves a golden stone behind her as she walks that only Baladev can see. And when he sees that golden stone going in that direction, he'll turn the other way. So if he's in the external identity of Anangamanjari, who's Radhika's and Ranga's sister, why would he want to turn away? He's not externally carrying the bodily features of Anangamanjari, but internally he is having that mood of Madhurya, because we know that Baladev, he experiences all the rasas. Nityananda will experience all the rasas. And as Madhurya ras, we're taught that he experiences that as Anangamanjari, but that's in the identity of Anangamanjari. We can't understand it. It's achintya. It is inconceivable. Even um, Nityananda, he marries Janavamata. And who is Janavamata? She is also Anangamanjari. So how do you work that out? You don't with your material intelligence. Throw the material intelligence away and just accept the beauty of these siddhantas and just try to bow the head and appreciate them. But don't think that Nitai singularly alone, he will singularly alone bring you, just like Guru is bringing us to the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. And what is Rupa Manjari doing? He's bringing us to the lotus feet of Sri Radhika. Understand, that is, it's not that we worship Rupa Goswami separately from Radhika. We are worshipping Rupa Goswami so that he will infuse us, she will infuse us as Rupa Manjari to serve Sri Radhika. Understand? This is the mood. This is what we're doing. It's not that they are our Ishtadev is Radhika. So similarly with Nitai, The Ishtadev is Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, not Nityananda. But Nityananda, he is the storekeeper. And it's described that he is the principal trader in the holy name. He's doing all of this seva. Why did Mahaprabhu tell him not to come to Puri every year? He told him repeatedly, you stay in Bengal. He wanted this mission thoroughly sunk and established within Bengal. He wanted the origin of this holy name to be fountaining out across the planet. This is what he wanted to do. This was his mission, to distribute the holy name. And that chief personality of distribution was in the hands of Nitai and Advaita Acharya, the two of them together. They were distributing in Bengal. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur conceives this incredible picture of this place at Surabhi is where this holy name is fountaining out. And we were reading the other day how in Krishna Lila, this Surabhi Kunj is Ter Kadamba. What does Ter Kadamba mean? It means calling the cows. That's what Krishna is doing. It's that tree where Krishna climbs, that Kadamba tree, and he calls all the cows before going back in the pastime of Goduli, going back into the village of Braj. And he also calls on his flute all the gopis from that place. Ter Kadamba. He's calling them on that place. So that mood of calling. So Nitai, he's calling. He's chanting loudly, infusing the holy name into all the conditioned jivas. He's calling them all, wake up, wake up. Hear the sound vibration of his holy name. And once that holy name starts to impact on the hearts of the individuals, then they will start to inquire naturally. Their inspiration will come. Where is that prem? Where is that love that I can serve? And Nitai will say, you go to Mahaprabhu. You go to Mahaprabhu's teachings. Mahaprabhu's teachings are where? In the hand of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, all our Guru Varga. They are in their hands. Because what does Mahaprabhu want to give? This Rag Mag Bhakti Loke Karite Prachan. That's what he's giving. He's giving this Rag Mag. Nitai is not giving that. Nitai is Prince. He's spreading. And from this Shuddha Bhakti, we will very easily come to the lotus feet of Sachinandan Gaura Hari. So it's um, these two personalities, they're not the same, and yet they are the same at the same time, because they have the same goal of Krishna Prem. But one is doing the support, and one is actually distributing. Only Krishna himself can give the understanding of what is parakiya-rasa. And without understanding parakiya-rasa, there is no madhurya. There is no madhurya. If this parakiya-rasa is not appreciated, and prior to Mahaprabhu, this parakiya-rasa was not appreciated. No respectable Vaishnava would consider that Krishna was dancing with other men's wives, not even entertain that idea. So Krishna had to come himself, Mahaprabhu, as Mahaprabhu, to inspire in the hearts to practically work a miracle through the power of the holy name that Nitai is distributing, so that we could accommodate this idea that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has broken all Maryad, he's broken all the rules and regulations of social behavior, and he's dancing with other men's wives. How can we reconcile that? You can't materially reconcile that. So many Paka Vaishnavas from South India, they couldn't. Jiva Goswami, he made accommodation for that. And he said, yes, Swakya Bhav, that's okay, marital. Yes, they could tolerate, they could appreciate that. But parakiya, and parakiya is the heart, it's the incentive for their relationship to be fraught with all kinds of material obstacles and difficulties. Jatila, Kotila, Mukara comes sometimes. So many different obstacles are there. Abhimanyu, threatening to break up their relationship. And the excitement that is actually infused in Krishna Lila by this dynamic of parakiya is extraordinary. They have to plan secretly. Special messages have to be sent to and fro constantly. Where are we meeting tonight? Which sanket are we meeting tonight, etc. So all of this has to be, it just creates such a dynamism. And it's Yoga Maya, as we explained the other day, who knows that this parakiya is higher than the swakiya. Krishna is ready to marry Radha. It's not that Krishna arranges this parakiya, not at all. No, don't think like that. Krishna is not arranging that. It's all coming through Shakti, Yogamaya. Radharani knows that this parakiya is going to be the most exciting rasa for Krishna. Imagine in Swakiya, what is the height of the conception in Dwarka? It's described as Anurag. Anurag, this is the bhav of Dwarka, because the queens, they have 10 sons, they have one daughter. So the attraction to Krishna is divided in, Krishna gets a 12th. 10 sons and one daughter, and Krishna makes 12. So Krishna, he actually gets a 12th of the focused Anurag. And this is called Samanjasa Rati in Dwarka. That is the nature of that Rati. And it doesn't control, not that we can go to the highest conception, but we should be educated in what is the highest conception. So when other conceptions come and someone's trying to attract us to something, we actually know, thank you, but I'm not going in that direction. I'm going in this direction. And then what is the rati of the gopis of Braj? Samartha rati. And that rati has the power to control Krishna completely. Krishna goes mad practically, becomes depressed, puts his flute down, takes his peacock crown off. When Radhika rejects him, he sits on the bank of the Jamuna, completely doesn't play with the cowherd boys or anything. He's just sitting there lamenting. Does he ever do that in Dwarka? He doesn't have his flute and peacock feather in Dwarka. He doesn't even take them with him. They actually, when they go to meet in Kurukshetra, which is a very special Siddhanta, the gopis, they take his peacock feather in a beautiful gold case, and they take his flute. Krishna, he won't touch it though. He can't touch it out of Braj. It's only in that deepest sense of Madhurya Ras that the flute and the peacock feather, he needs the flute in Braj to break the proud man of the gopis. And it's not only Radhika who goes into man. When we read Ujjvala Nilamani, so many of the gopis are actually expressing, but their man, of course, is way inferior to Radhika's. Inferior because Krishna is not as attracted to the other gopis as he is to Radhika. If Radhika rejects him, he cannot eat, he cannot think practically, he's bewildered. And Radhika, she wants to intensify that prem. Love is a verb, to love. It has to be dynamic and growing. It can't be stagnant, static. It's ecstatic. That ecstasy comes from infusion, constant infusion. And what is the dynamic of infusion? It's separation. When the separation moods are there, even when they're together, if Radhika is in Man, it's considered separation. There's no union. So Krishna, he's so hungry, greedy for that Milan, for that Sambhog, that he will practically he'll give his crown, he'll give his flute at the lotus feet of Sri Radhika. And sometimes she rejects that. Then, of course, later on, she becomes very regretful of doing like that. And she laments. Immediately she becomes, once Krishna goes away. So this is all the dynamic of Braj. And how could Nityananda Prabhu, who is Baladev, express all of those bhavs into the heart of the sadhak? He's not doing like that. That's not how it is. We should understand this. It's not all one. Yes, everyone Gornitai, 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 but there's a distinction. And never there should be Gornitai on the same altar with Radha and Krishna. Not ever, 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 ever. That is really Rasabhas. Here we have Mahaprabhu separately, and then we have Nityananda separately. I've actually suggested that perhaps the consort of Nityananda be there, Janavamata, would be very appropriate to have Nityananda and Janavamata. Nityananda, he takes Janavamata and Vasudha as his wives, these two wives. So we see in places where Nityananda is there with his two wives. So that mood is compatible with Radha and Krishna on the altar and Mahaprabhu on the altar. So we see in the different mats, sometimes it's Mahaprabhu with Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya. They are there also. So we have to understand all these different, very special, intimate relationships. So, and what is our objective? What is our purpose? Is to serve that prem. Mahaprabhu is come to taste the prem. There was a video today from Gurudev, and he's saying exactly the same thing. I'm saying the same thing as Gurudev, rather, that Mahaprabhu has come to taste that unnata ujvala. That unnata is the topmost, ujvala, brilliantly shining. Mahaprabhu himself, Krishna. What is that unnata ujvala ras? What is it? What is it? Madanakya Mahabhav and Mohanakya Mahabhav. That meeting in Sambhog and the meeting internally in separation. Both meeting and separation ultimately have the same pinnacle. Do you remember why? Because of the Ashtasattvika bhavs. The 8 Ashtasattvika bhavs are fully blazing. When those emotions, they impact the very core of the mortal coil, we can say, the body, that earth element within the body, when it's impacted with tremendous emotion, that is called stamba. When the body becomes stunned, that is an asta sattvika bhav. And there's 8 of these bhavs. When tears come to the eyes, that is ashru. Ashru, that's another asta sattvika bhav. And then when
Water element.
the water is ashru, earth, water, and fire. The fire is Vaivarnya, changing in color. The fire produces 2 aspects. There's Vaivarnya and Sveda, perspiration. These exhibitions are Ashtasattvika bhavs. This is what is experiencing externally. Internally, it is such a high extent we cannot even conceive. Then after fire is air. No, after fire is, yes, is earth, water, fire, air. Yes, is air. And that is pralaya. That is like losing consciousness. That pralaya. That's another sattvika bhav. And then it's described, well, either air, the sky actually is the way it's described in the Bindu, Bhakti Rasamrita Bindu. You have earth, water, fire, sky, and then air. And then in the final one of air, there's romancha, when the hairs are standing on end. Then there is kampa, when goosebumps are coming. And then there's sveda bade. This is when there's faltering of the voice. And we sing about this every single day in Mangalati. What's that second verse of the Guru Vastikam? Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nita Gita Vaditya Madhyan Manasorasena Romancha Kampa Shutaranga Bhajo Vande Goroshi Charanara. We're singing about those Ashtasattvika bhavs. So this Madanakya Mahabhav is when at least 5 of those Ashtasattvika bhavs are blazing. There's 5 degrees of intensity within these Ashtasattvika bhavs. The first is Domayata, that's when it's smoking. Then there's Jvalita, that's when there's fire. Then there's Deepta. Then there's Udipta and Sudipta. These 5 stages of intensity of these Ashtasattvika bhavs. And then when 5 are blazing, that's Sudipta. They've reached an incredible high. Krishna, he doesn't experience this himself. He only experiences up to Mahabhav. But this stage, when the 5 are blazing, Sudipta, this stage is called Ruta Mahabhav. Ruta Mahabhav. And when all of these 8 are Sudipta, blazing, all Adi Ruta Mahabhav. And only Sri Radhika will taste that. And Sachinan Gorahari, he wants to taste that. But in Modan, that's in separation, not in meeting. Because how can he have meeting when Radhika is not? Radhika is there in the form of Gadadhar, but in a completely covered mood. Gadadhar is always Dasyaras, always, 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 always Dasyaras. To contemplate that Gadadhar and Mahaprabhu have some type of conjugal relationship is abhorrent. That is completely sahajya, totally. Gadadhar will be inspiring Mahaprabhu in all of these um, uh, desires that he has, but never they themselves will have any. Because Krishna, who is Mahaprabhu, is going to taste that bhav, which he has in potential within him. And when Radhika bestowed that bhav upon him, she gave it to him. She told him at that time, you cannot tolerate this. You will not be able to tolerate this. Women actually have a capacity to tolerate more pain than men. They all mostly give childbirth. Man couldn't handle that for a start. So women have a capacity to tolerate more pain. And Radhika told Krishna, you will not be able to tolerate these moods. And he couldn't tolerate them. He became like a pumpkin. His whole body became transformed. He fell into the sea and all his limbs became elongated. This is a symptom of the body being intolerant. The body couldn't cope with that tremendous, those sattvika bhavs, those blazing sattvika bhavs rolling within his body. So this is the prem that we are going to serve by the power of the holy name, which our Nitai is going to give us. So this is the marketplace. This is the beginning. This is the origin of the holy name. This here, Surabhi Kunj. So, and it's saying that the storehouse of this is in Shrimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam itself will open up all these doors. In the 10th canto, in the Rasa Panchadiya, when we see Krishna directly dancing with 300 million gopis, and we witness directly the incredible, extraordinary pastimes of the Ras Leela. This Ras Leela is the crest jewel of all of Krishna's pastimes. So it should never be sidestepped or omitted. We should appreciate this is the culmination of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, is the Ras Leela. So we must diligently pray to appreciate this pastime, this most incredible pastime. 300 million, 300 billion gopis, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. 300 billion. And they've all got brothers, so that means 600 billion in the little village of Vrindavan. There's only 8 billion people in all of India. So how do you get six, and their mothers and fathers? So you're up to 12 billion people straight away. So it's achintya, 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 achintya. Inconceivable. So this beautiful book that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has conceived, and he's saying, who are the share traders? The principal trader is Nityananda, and the share traders are Advaita Prabhu in Bengal, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami in Vrindavan, and Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda in Jagannath Puri. They are the shareholders. How beautiful conception. And this whole book of Kalpatavi is going into great depth. It's saying, who are the storekeepers? Gadadhar Pandit, Srimati Vishnu Priya Thakurani and Srimati Janavi Thakurani, and Raghunath Das Goswami in Vrindavan and Paramananda Puri in Jagannath Puri. All these different personalities, who they, and then he's got the treasurers, he's got the clerks, the cooks, the currency examiners, the sales agents, the weighers, the servants, the porters, the cart pullers, the customers, the materials to be purchased, Nam, Rup Yukta Nam, Guna Yukta Nam, Leela Yukta Nam, Rasita Nam, and Sarva Rasa Shikta Nam. All of these degrees of potency in Nam. And what are the rules of payments? What is the transcendental currency? This Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav. These are the currencies. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has really opened this out beautifully. And the aspects of Sri Namhata. Then he goes, who is the traveling salesman? Who is the sales agent? What is counterfeit money? He talks about counterfeit money. This is Bengal, you know. Everything goes here in Bengal. So genuine money refers to pure intentions which are full of faith and freedom from desire for liberation or fruitive gain, freedom from desire of gyan and karma. Yeah, these pages stick together, not good. Just break them. You have to break it. Yeah, what to do? Uh, so all of these details, I'm just full book with you because we're at the origin of where this book has come from. And I've sent this book to you all on in PDF. And when you come to Ruby Kunj for 50 rupees, you can purchase a nice copy, nice shiny printing in Calcutta. And who are the employers of Namhata? It's the perfect blueprint to begin spreading the holy name in any land, in any city or country. How do you go around organizing it? As soon as the conditioned souls, the sadhaks, put their focus on um, s- spreading this Nam, how are we systematically going to do it? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's such a far-reaching, visioned personality. He wants to give us the blueprint to help us to do that. So this Surabhi Kunj is the origin of this. And of course, we know that in Surabhi Kunj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he lived here continuously for at least 8 years, just right here in this house, more than 10 years actually altogether. And he directly wrote the Jaivadharma. But again, in this Surabhi Kunj is the beautiful pastime of Surabhi Devi herself, who um, helped Indradev when he was desperate to be fully forgiven for his horrendous offense of trying to murder all the residents of Vrindavan. He was trying to murder them all. What less could it be than murder? He called those clouds of devastation. He called the heaviest clouds in the universe for the universal destruction. They were bound with ropes of wind, and he cut those ropes of wind and ordered those clouds to inundate
Samvartaka.
Samvastaka,
Samvartaka.
Samvartika, to inundate Braj. He wanted to kill everybody, every insect, out of pride. Even we see a reflection of this in local global politicians. Just out of pride, they'll do anything. They'll take their whole nation to genocide practically. Just out of pride, people will do like this. So what to speak of Indra? So then his pride was purified by Krishna, and he realized his greatness, wanted to be forgiven. Krishna forgave him to some degree, but he wasn't satisfied. And Surabhi Devi encouraged him to come here and submit and perform austerities to get the darshan of Sachinandan Gaurahari, who is the most merciful personality, and that he would be satisfied if he had his darshan. They came for a long time, they performed austerities here, and then Mahaprabhu appears, and Indradev is forgiven completely, and he's satisfied. He goes back to his post in Swagaloka. But Surabhi Devi, she stays here. So Surabhi Devi has a mood to facilitate the conditioned souls being forgiven. We can think like this. Surabhi Devi will help us to be forgiven. And if you don't think you should be forgiven, then you're not really a devotee. You're not really thinking very deeply. What have I got to be forgiven for? What have I done? I asked today in that huge crowd of people, I said, who doesn't want to be forgiven? And one girl put her hands up. But I think she didn't understand the question. Otherwise, no one else did, you know. But this is the if we can meditate here, that Surabhi Devi, she will help us be forgiven for the length of time we have turned our faces away from that most divine personality. He is the repository of all beauty in existence. Krishna, the name itself, means full of beauty, all attractive. He's called Lavanga. Lavanga means the origin of beauty, the very origin of beauty. And we've turned our faces away for lifetimes. Perhaps in our early years in this lifetime, we've turned our faces away. Even today, we're turning us. What does it mean, turning away? It means I have a more important consideration in my life than I do in focusing on my service to Krishna. Much more important is I get my personal securities together, my this together, my this, my family, all this kind of stuff, you know. And this is much more important than the eternal welfare of the soul. So tragically, we go that route. Even if we've been chanting for a number of years, we still are compromising all the time. We're not actually cent percent putting all our energy into pleasing the Supreme, begging Krishna, please give me seva, please show me the route, because service is what the Vaishnava wants fully. So by coming to Surabhi Kunj, we can pick up this mood of seva through Surabhi Devi, and we can contemplate the glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who we've sung endlessly for the last year, um, in connection with Jivadharma and all his teachings there. He says in that Fal Shruti, Rupa Nuga Pate, what's that? Rupa Nuga Abhiman Pate Shetakoi, Jivadharma Vimokake, Dharma Hine Koi, that faithfully reading Jivadharma, one's Abhiman as a Rupa Nuga follower of Sri Rupa Goswami will be strengthened. And who doesn't read Jivadharma can never attain pure bhakti like that. So all of these Falshrutis, injunctions that he's beautifully shared and given to us from his heart. And I was saying this morning how in Vrindavan there are 6 Goswamis uncovering everything diligently, very, very beautifully, the Goswamis. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is single-handedly doing all this. So his gift to humanity is astronomical. We can't calculate. So coming here to Surabhi Kunj today for all the Vaishnavas and considering the glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the glories of Surabhi Devi. Also Surabhi Devi, she saves the drowning Markandeya Rishi, who is in the ocean of devastation, and nourishes him with her milk and brings him, a great sage, one of the greatest sages, Markandeya Rishi, had a benediction to live for 7 manus and regretted it in the end. What did he want such a long life for? But anyway, that pastime we always remember here. So these pastimes, especially the glories of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is residing in the dust of this place, no doubt. The dust is always the most valuable commodity because all the buildings and so on, they all degenerate and leave ultimately, but the dust always remains. And always the dust we want to be placing on our heads. So Surabhi Kunj ki jai, Srila
Jai,
Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai,
Jai,
Surabhi Devi ki jai.
Jai.
So now we're going to go a very short distance to Svananda-sukhada Kunj. Svananda-sukhada Kunj, what is that? Swananda. Swa means
Ananda.
own, Ananda bliss, and Shukada, happiness. Swananda Shukada Kunj. And whose Kunj is that? Ananga Manjari. It's Ananga Manjari's Kunj in Radha Kund. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is always showing his um, submissiveness to Ananga Manjari. As Kamala Manjari in the spiritual world, Kamala Manjari is in service to Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari, always understand, is not a Manjari. She's a Saki, and she will have a conjugal relationship with Krishna. Especially that's reminded us in Radhakunda itself. When you go to Radhakunda, the Gopinath temple there, where Raghunath Das's Pushpa Samadhi is, just out the front of there, who is there? Who is that bathing sitting place? It's Janava Mata. Janava Mata. And who is Janava Mata? She is Ananga Manjari. And just out from Janava Mata, which is no longer manifest, originally was a little island, which was Svananda-sukhada Kunj, where Ananga Manjari would have her play palace. All the Sakis, Sri Radhika, Tungavidya, Lalita, Vishaka, all Chitra, Champakalata, all had their play zones in Radhakund, all beautifully described, different colors, different hues. Some were completely blue, like Chitra. And if Krishna was there, nobody could even see Krishna because they were like blue trees, blue lotuses, blue birds. Everything was blue. And then in Tungavidya's or Lalita's, I think, no, Lalita is red. Everything is completely red. And in Duleka, everything is completely yellow. So these different kunjas that Krishna would play with the gopis every day in Madhyana Lila, we can't conceive of how beautiful this place was. So simple and beautiful and natural. So Swananda Sukhada Kunj. And when you come in the gate, the first thing you see is Shivji. You see the Shiva Lingam and the small Nandi as you straight into the. Previously, this lingam was immediately onto the left of the gate. They've got a water pump there now. Where that water pump is, the Shiva Lingam used to be there, was sitting there. And it's the original lingam that Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself installed there. Lalit Prasad, he took the deities of Gaur Gadadhar to Birnaga, and he took so much paraphernalia from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he didn't take the Shiva Lingam. It was embedded into the ground. So the Shiva Lingam is there. But they have moved that Shiva Lingam into a beautiful new place where it can be worshipped nicely as you enter the gate. Why is it there? To remind us, to substantiate us that this is actually Nandagaon. Nandagaon is residing on the head of Nandishwara, that personality Shivji. It's sitting on his head. And when you go to Nandagaon and you go to the very top of the hill, there's actually a huge water tank, which we don't often go to on Parikrama, but it's just behind Krishna's palace. You can see a large water tank. If you go there, underneath that water tank, there's a huge footprint of Krishna, a very large footprint of Krishna. It's very beautiful there. But that footprint is on the head of Shivji. And inside that mandir at Nandagaon, there is the lingam. When we take darshan of Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, Krishna, Balaram, Radharani, Sridham, Subal on the altar, then you come out of there and you come into a small little mandir right adjacent to it, and there is Shivji. He's there represented. So Nandishwar is here. So then you come in. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was putting Navadvipa on the map. It was not on the map prior to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Nobody understood practically any of the glory. They certainly didn't know where the Yogpit was, where his birth site was. They didn't know any of this. So all of these places, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has diligently, like here we're saying, my Gurudev has said this is Terrakadamba, and which is very close by Nandagaon. So then is Nandagaon itself, and we see on the altar is the Murti of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So what is the history of that Murti? Is his body underneath in Samadhi? No. Actually, his body was left in Calcutta. That's where he gave up his life, in Calcutta. And his son, Lalit Prasad, who wasn't conversant with the proper formalities for uh, embalming in Samadhi a great Mahapurush, he had him cremated the very next day. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he found this out and was furious. He went down immediately the next day to Calcutta, and he very carefully gathered all those ashes together in a beautiful urn and brought them back here and established them where they are today, and had that murti made of his divine father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, resting on the top of those ashes. So that's what's under. That is as close as we'll get to the um, uh, full samadhi of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That is his samadhi. But it's not his body that was interned there, it was the ashes. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he made these, or had made these other Gaur Gadadhar deities that are there. They're not the deities that Bhaktivinoda Thakur worshipped. Those deities are with Lalit Prasad in Biranaga. And they're so beautiful. Those original deities, they're only about this size, right? Very, very beautiful deities. And they are in Birnaga. But the deities here were manifested by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in order to perpetuate the current of worship of Gaur Gadadhar, because this worship is very selective. Previously, Mahaprabhu would have been worshipped as Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya, or Mahaprabhu and Lakshmi Priya. This is a Vaikuntha, Vaidhi Bhav, and this is Archan, a mood of Archan, or worshipping Gaur Nitai is a mood of Archan. But Gaur Gadadhar, this is a mood of Bhajan, the mood of Bhajan. Did I get that right?
Yes.
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 Archan and Bhajan.
Archan and Bhajan.
Yeah. So to perform Bhajan, we worship Gaur Gadadhar. To perform Archan, we worship Gaur Nitai. Gaur Nitai are the preaching focus. They are spreading the mission around the planet. And both conceptions can be very easily accommodated within the consciousness. It's not, oh, I'm a Gaunitai Bhakta, oh, I'm a Gadadha. Both can be simply when you're on the road preaching or when you're just doing your regular preaching anywhere, you're in a mood of supporting that preaching mission of Nityananda Prabhu. And then when you're doing your own personal internal bhajan, you're meditating on Gaur Gadadha. There's no conflict here. Don't try to make camps and silly things like that. Immature devotees do like that. That's not necessary. Both have their glorious positions and should be fully, easily accepted in the hearts of the sadhaks. So we see Gaur Gadadhar there, and we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then just right beside that, we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur first, and then we walk around the corner and we see Gadadhar from a different darshan place, and then there's a samadhi right next to that. That samadhi is a personality called Krishna Das. He was the person who gave that land to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first disciple. His name is Krishna Das. And to honor him, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had that samadhi built there for Krishna Das. So we honor him as Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first disciple. And then we walk around the corner, and who do we come to then? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who was an intimate friend of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. And so many beautiful pastimes about Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was so respectful towards Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he requested him to initiate his son. And his son immediately understood the degree of his bhakti and understood this is an Uttam Bhagavat. It's described that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati examined Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He examined him for one whole day, 24 hours. And it's described he didn't find a single second, not 1 second, when he wasn't directly engaged in service to Radha and Krishna. Not, he said, if he'd even found a few seconds, he would not have accepted him as his Guru Maharaj. He didn't find a single distraction in his entire day away from his seva to Radha and Krishna. So he accepted him fully in his heart. And we know the pastimes, how he approached, but Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was rejecting, just to inspire more greed in the heart and to see the sincerity of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Finally, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, I will quit my body unless you give me these mantras. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur interceded and begged Gaur Kishore Das Babaji also, you please give the boy, he needs it. So he gave like that. So this is Svananda-sukhada Kunj. So these two incredible places right here in Godrum-dvipa. Godrum. Go means cow. Drum means tree. This cow, Surabhi, is sitting under this huge tree and it's spreading its branches from this whole area. Locally, this area is called Swarup Ganj, by the way. If ever you're on the ferry and you want to come to Godrum, don't say Godrum to the people on the boat. They won't understand. I did when I first came here. I said, Godrum, don't you know where Godrum is? No, never heard of it. But as soon as I said Swarup Ganj, oh yes, this way, straight away. So not everyone is educated actually in this land on the reality of its islands. They're not educated like that. It's been covered over by such a weight of Muslim rule and all sorts of other considerations that have gone on. Anyway, from Svananda-sukhada Kunj, then we start to walk towards Harihara-kshetra. And if we're walking, it probably will take us 40 minutes, perhaps, walking fast. So, Brani, you walk today? Yes. Oh my God. Let me put my glasses on. I got to see your face. Wow. So, how long did it take you? No idea. In bliss all the way. Big kirtan. 1 hour, yes. It takes about an hour. They're also walking all the way.
Yes, all the way.
Harihara-kshetra. So good. We used to do this every single year, again and again and again and again. And Gurudev would always praise us because usually it was so hot. There was melting tarmac on the road, and the devotees would be walking through with blisters. And my Gurudev would say, when Mahaprabhu sees this surrender, his heart will melt, and you will get all strength in your bhakti from this. You went also? You didn't go. So we come to Harihara-kshetra, most beautiful, beautiful, big um, expanse of land, beautiful trees, and very attractive area indeed. And we hear the beautiful glories of Shivji, and we've described many times in the past how Shivji has four aspects that we should always remember. He's Gopeshwar Mahadev, he's Sadashiva, Shambhu, and Rudra. These four aspects of Shivji. It's all one root of Shivji. Shivji means auspicious, that's what the name means. And as Shambhu, he's carrying the seed into the womb of his wife, Durgama. That's called the Adara Shakti. He's carrying it through the Pradhan, which creates the Prakriti. And then that material time agitates the three modes of nature, and the whole manifestation of this cosmic reality we live in was formed. So Shivji is tremendously, he's got such an interesting tattva because he's Swamsa. That means Swa Anksa. That means he's coming directly from Krishna's body, directly, like Baladev, like Kurma, Varaha, Nrsimha, um, Parashuram. All of these personalities, they're all coming directly from Krishna's body. So they have their own Godhead. In Vaikuntha, they have their own planets. Nrsimhadev has his own planet. Varahadev has his own planet, etc. They all have their own places as God. They are as God. Shivji also is in the same category. That's why we worship him as Vishnu Tattva on Shivratri. That's why we fast. We don't worship him as a Jiva, as Jiva Tattva. We worship him as Vishnu. That's what he is, shastrically. But he has the conception of service to Vishnu. This is a very wonderful consideration. So actually, we don't call it Swamsa. We call it Swamsa Bhav Abbas. We call that mood Swamsa because he's not in the mood of Godhead. He doesn't have a planet where he is the Supreme Lord. On Kailash, he's worshipping Sankarshan and he's worshipping Lord Ram. That's his worshipable deities. He's not. It's not that he is up there being worshipped by everybody. So Shivji is a very special, powerful. He was manifested from Krishna's right hand side to protect the Rasastali, the Ketrapal of the and in Vamsivat. That's why he was manifested. So this is Shivji, and at this place, there's the beautiful pastime where um, Shivji is the ruling Ishtadev of Kashi. And in Kashi, there's a demon king, Pundraka, and he places two fiberglass extra arms on his body and declares that he is that four-armed supreme personality of Godhead and sends a messenger to Dwarka to tell Krishna that he should come and actually worship him. And Krishna and all the residents of Dwarka, they all laugh, hold their sides, just laughing and laughing. And then he leaves. And Krishna, he just orders Sudarshan Chakra to actually, is that right? No, not yet. No, then Krishna and Balaram, with their armies, they come to attack Kashi. And there's a huge, intense battle. And the king of Kashi, who's a worshipper of Shivji, let me just read this, get it straight. I'm just going to read briefly these two paragraphs so you'll get the narration beautifully. Otherwise, I'll stumble it through. So Harihara-kshetra, also called Mahavaranasi, situated on the bank of the Gandaki River. This is the Gandaki that flows under the ground half the time. When we get to Nrsimha-palli in a few minutes, it's going to be the Mandakini River. So this is the Gandaki here in Harihara-kshetra. So here in this ancient temple, Sri Hari, Vishnu, and Sri Hara, Shivji, are manifested in the same deity form. We see this splendid, one side white and one side black, both as one, which is, there's no other deity in existence like this deity. It's most special. Once Pundraka, the king of Kursha province, declared to Sri Krishna that he was God and challenged him to battle. Krishna came to Kashi, and Pundraka and his ally, Kashiraj, that's where I get it, the king of Kashi, came forth from the city to attack him. Krishna defeated them all and tossed the king's head back into the city. And they all thought, oh, this must be Krishna's head that's thrown in. And then they discovered, oh my, it's our king he's been defeated. The son of Kashiraj, Sudakshin, then performed a tantric yagya to Mahadev, because Mahadev is the Ishtadev of Varanasi. Lord Vishwanath, invoking the demon Dakshin Agni. This demon, Dakshin Agni, was invoked. So the son of Kashiraj is called Sudakshin, and the demon he invoked is called Dakshin Agni from the fire. Dakshin Agni was sent to Dwarka to incinerate it. As soon as you um, uh, perform the tantric ceremonies, then that personality manifests. And if that personality doesn't have success in the mission that he's sent on, he comes back and destroys that person and place where he was sent from. If he can't fulfill the mission, that's how it. You take a gamble when you tantric. It's not going to be just all in your favor. There's a catch to it, a twist. So Dakshin Agni was sent to Dwarka to incinerate it. But Krishna's chakra, manifesting the most intense heat, like a million blazing suns, met him at the gates of the city. Dakshin Agni fled in fear from that intense heat of Krishna's chakra and returned to Kashi, followed by the Lord's chakra, where he proceeded to incinerate Sudakshin along with all his priests. So that Dakshin Agni, that demon, he incinerated Sudakshin and all his priests in Kashi, as well as all of Kashi. Then he began incinerating Kashi. And Sudarshan Chakra was behind, giving more heat. Can you imagine that whole city, that such opulent city, full of libraries, full of artwork, and it was an incredibly opulent city, was totally incinerated at that time. This is 5,000 years ago. Incinerated. And its abundant wealth were incinerated. At that time, Mahadev, who was residing in the city, fled to Navadvipa seeking Mahaprabhu's shelter. Then Vishnu manifested there, saying, we are non-different, hence the astonishing Harihara deity manifested here. So when Shivji runs here, but didn't he go to Bhubaneswara first? And then he came here afterwards? Anyway, I think, no, okay. So this is the um, pastime
Now,
of,
I heard that DT got stolen once and then they got it back.
it was retrieved.
Yeah,
Ah,
somebody stole it and
okay. But this place we remember our most beloved Shivji, Vaishnavam Yatar Shambhu. He's the greatest Vaishnava, and he supports always the Vaishnava's activities. Always he will support us. We don't ask him for that support. We ask him only for support to nourish our bhakti. We ask him only for that. But Shivji is quite competent and capable of performing all kinds of miracles, of bringing even devotees to Krishna. Many devotees have come to Krishna through the mercy of Shivji. He's serving Krishna in every way. So we come to this beautiful place of Harihara-kshetra and we discuss Shiva Tattva, sometimes at length with my Gurudev. There's a beautiful tree there. And then generally, historically, traditionally, we'd always take flat rice. Remember, they would get great baths full of flat rice and feed the thousands of pilgrims that would come. Flat rice and fruits. That would be our breakfast for the day. And now we're going to take the big hike to Nrsimha-palli. And Sobrani is in front of me, who went there red faced, and she looks very tired today. Huh? You walked back. No. But it's about, I think, 10, 10 kilometers, yes, from Harihara-kshetra. It's about a 10-kilometer hike. And normally, on normal years, we do it in the most intense heat. And many years we've done just without shoes and got blisters, etc., in a mood of submissiveness and austerity to try and get Krishna's sympathy and perform that vrat. We walk on the sealed road for quite some time, and then we cut through into a dirt road, and then we cut across, and then we come to. Oh, before we start that journey, we go to Suvarna-vihar, and Suvarna-vihar is such a beautiful, beautiful place.
We didn't go there today.
Ah,
We skipped.
really? The whole party skipped.
Yes, the whole part.
That's because you all spoke too much time. We were there today when the party was speaking, and three speakers all speaking at length 20, 30 minutes. My Gurudev would never tolerate that. He always said like 10, 12 minutes maximum is speaking time during Parikrama. And if you have two speakers, maybe three speakers for 12 minutes, that's enough. My Gurudev was very able to manage the Parikrama so the yatris, the devotees, would get back in one piece and not completely burnt out. You have to think for tomorrow, because
Yes.
tomorrow we're going to Chambahata and Samudragar and Vidyanagar. It's a long journey tomorrow. So you have to pace the thousands of pilgrims. You can't just race them through. So we usually stop in Suvarna-vihar, and it's such an intoxicatingly beautiful place. There's always so many cows there because it's a Hindu village. The villages around, they're all Muslim villages, and they none of them have cows. But you come to Suvarna-vihar and it's filled with cows. Suvarna-vihar is a pure Hindu village, so they are respecting and loving. Each house practically has a cow there, and you can sense the sattvic nature of that village just by coming into Suvarna-vihar. What to speak of going to our beautiful ashram, which is actually under the guidance of, originally it was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and now there's a disciple there of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vamana Maharaj, who's actually looking after that place. So you come into the courtyard and there's huge trees, and there's always 15 or 20 cows just regally sitting under these huge trees, chewing their cud. It just creates such a softness in the heart when you see the contented nature of these cows. When you come through these Muslim villages and then you come to the cow, is allowed to sit in his own glory. And generally speaking, during the parikrama times, there would always be a marketplace set up with cucumbers and things like that selling. So the devotees can get some type of refreshment there. But the pastime here is very significant because the king, um, Suvarna Sen, was practicing many karma yagyas. He was performing these yagyas to increase his material facilities, etc., and prosperity for his family and sons. And he was doing so many of them. That meant sacrificing the animals in those yagyas. And because this Suvarna-vihar is situated in Navadvipa, that Narada Rishi, he decided to give mercy to this Suvarna Sen. And he came and he took him to a quiet place and he began to educate him in the of performing these yagyas, that they were all naimitic, they were all temporary. None of them were going to carry on across into the next birth. None of these fruits of his karmic results would be with him when he needed them the most. So, by the mercy of Narad, Suvarna Sen began to understand this and he began dancing in ecstasy. And Narad, he instructed him about the glories of Sachinandan Gaurahari. After they were dancing, then this king, Suvarna Sen, he rested. And in his sleep, he had a dream. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu manifested and told him that actually, in a future birth, because of his piety, he would take birth as one of the parakas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would assist him in his pastimes. This is Buddhimanta Khan. And Buddhimanta Khan is the one who arranges all the marriage for Vishnu Priya. When Vishnu Priya gets married, Buddhimanta Khan, who's a wealthy landowner at that time, he arranges all of the festive. Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra were practically destitute. They had no money. But Buddhimanta Khan arranged that glorious second wedding of um, Nimai Pandit.
Also, Bundipanda Khan was responsible for arranging all the costumes and the
Yes,
for the
at Chandrasekhar
Chandrasekhar
Bhavan.
Bhavan.
Yes,
Yes.
Chandrasekhar Bhavan, where the beautiful, famous drama was enacted when Mahaprabhu took the role of Lakshmi Dev, and all the followers were enacting out the pastimes of Lakshmi Dev, but they were actually that person, and all the devotees were in complete bliss. Even Mother Sachi, she couldn't recognize Nimai at that time, because and who was Gadadhar? He was, I think he acted perhaps Radharani or Durgama. I can't remember, but he was a feminine person. I can't remember. I need to refresh the
There is
pastime.
no Radharani in that play.
No Radharani there. Okay, so maybe it was Rukmini. I don't remember, but she was somebody there, and Gadadhar, and Haridas was the constable, I think.
And the stick, yes.
Yes, with the stick, and Advaita Acharya was the narrator, perhaps narrator something. Actually, he kept pestering Nimai, "What is my part? What is my part?" And Nimai finally said, "Oh, you can be everybody because you're Mahavishnu." So he took many different roles, but it must have been an ecstatic drama. It's a really special, and this was all at the house of Chandrasekhar, which is the Chaitanya Mat today, where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has his samadhi. That was Chandrasekhar Bhavan at that time. And Buddhimanta Khan, as Bilbaji has nicely um, told us, uh, funded all the costumes for that, because without all the beautiful costumes, it would not have been such a magnificent drama. So, yes, he assisted in that service. So now we go to Nrsimha-palli, which is considered right on the very eastern southern edge of the Gora Mandal, and it's described now today in Godrum-dvipa. But previously, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this was in Simanta-dvipa, because the island of Simanta-dvipa curls around. It goes past the Chankazi, past Jagannath Mandir, and it comes around. And that was where originally this Nrsimha-palli was situated. But today, when we go there, there's it's the Mandakini river that flows under the ground, but it's just in the form of a pond that's there. And if you go to um, uh, take Archaman from that pond and you look across the pond, you'll see a slight semblance of a few little hillocks on the other side. This was where all the devas manifested their palaces thousands of years ago. Vishvakarma came and he built hundreds of palaces to honor Lord Nrsimhadev, because Lord Nrsimhadev, he comes to this place after he's killed Hiranyakashipu and relieved Prahlad, his son, of the tremendous torture that he had to endure. He washed his hands here at this place and rested like a Vishram Ghat, and all the devas would come here and worship. So there's Brahma Tila, Surya Tila, Ganesh Tila, Shiv Tila. All these hills were there. Now they're practically no longer there, but all these hills were present. So this was very much worship. This pastime is manifesting not from this Satya Yuga, but from 7, 8 Satya Yugas back, because it was in the Chakshush Manvantara. Lord Nrsimhadev manifests in the Chakshush Manvantara. And what's always extraordinary on Nrsimha Chaturdasya, when we celebrate, because we've celebrated it so many times, it always seems that just yesterday Nrsimhadev incarnated. We always have that feeling, don't we? That it was just last year that he came. That indicates his eternal nature. He's always there, because we always have dramas, beautiful dramas about Nrsimhadev, etc., and Harikatha, all about the pastime of Prahlad's torture by his demonic father, and the two Vijay and Vijay, how they actually came there, and Prahlad educating his classmates and his teachers, Sanda and Amanda, the
Amarka.
Amarika, trying to educate him, and then um, Hiranyakashipu chastising his son. If your God is everywhere, is he in this pillar? And he bashes the pillar with his fist, and there's a thunderous roar. And to everyone's astonishment, I mean, we can't conceive of the roaring of Nrsimhadev. And then he advents from that broken pillar, grabs Hiranyakashipu. They have a beautiful fight, and the Devas become very afraid, thinking that um, maybe Hiranyakashipu is going to defeat this demon. The Devas don't have so much faith. just like in the Kaliyanaga demon, when Krishna is chastising him, they have to send inauspicious omens to the villagers to get the villagers to come because they think Krishna's been in the coils of Kaliya for too long. And they're not quite sure that these huge, massive demons aren't going to defeat Vishnu. They're thinking he's Vishnu. So when Nrsimhadev manifests like this, they're very afraid because Nrsimhadev takes pleasure in playing with Hiranyakashipu. This is the sport. This is why Jai and Vijay, they wanted to facilitate Krishna's or Narayan's desire to sport. So they took these forms of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah, to display his Veera Ras.
Vira ras,
Yes.
to give Vira ras. But Nrsimhadev himself, what is the ras of Nrsimhadev himself? He is in Vatsalya ras because of the beauty of Prahlad, the beauty of the feeling that he is having with Prahlad, his dearmost bhakta. So we always glorify Lord Nrsimhadev with Prahlad. We always say Bhakta Pravar, that beautiful. Viramas means the
Valor.
valor, chivalrous mood. So this is the mood. And in this place of Nrsimha-palli, Nrsimhadev himself is just like a ragged, ancient um, shalagram. But we can imagine that shalagram in Satyayuga was comparatively very small. Everyone in Satyayuga was so tall. Krishna himself was about 16, 17 feet high. That was in Dwapara Yuga. What to speak of Treta Yuga? What to speak of Satyayuga? They were enormous. So this would have been quite a small Shila. But today it's half the size of a door. Yes, at the size of a door. It's big. Yes, and if we take coconuts, it's always nice to offer 3 or 4 coconuts to Nrsimhadev, and then he loves to have a coconut abhishek, and the pujaris will bathe him very beautifully. But we hear beautiful guitar while we're there, and traditionally we would always take um, sweet rice and what and kheer. Yes, sweet rice and kheer. We take plates of that there. We have these traditions in our parikrama that have built up over many years from Srila Bhakti Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj.
Today they were collecting money for Kir.
Kheer,
Mm.
they were what?
Of
Donations.
donations. Yes.
Oh, maybe this year they can't afford it. All the prices have gone up in the world. Even the donations here are much less this year because people are struggling to actually get here. The fruit markets and vegetable markets, the prices of just like in the whole of the world, it's been squeezed by the demons, which is just the way it is. So Nrsimha-palli is a most inspiring place, and don't doubt that Nrsimhadev can help us with our Raganuga Bhakti. It's not that he's just Aishwarya Vaikuntha Bhav. Nrsimhadev, I can remember when we were um, um, preparing the Jaiva Dharma for publication, and I asked Gurudev, why is Pradumna Mishra, not Pradumna Brahmachari, who is the guru of Premdas Babaji in the beginning, I said, why is he in Nrsimha-palli?
Worship.
And he's what is his main activity and occupation? He's reading Jagadananda Pandit's Prema Vivart, which is such a high, beautiful treatise and sweet treatise about the moods of Satyabhama towards Krishna in Dwarka, but very, very sweet. And why is he in a place like Nrsimha-palli? Because I was thinking Nrsimha-palli must be just filled with the mood of Aishwarya. And my Gurudev said, no, Nrsimha-palli, Nrsimhadev will clear any impediment for any sadhak on his journey to any destination. If the sadhak's focus and attention is on Goloka Vrindavan or Gokul Vrindavan, then Nrsimhadev will help beautifully. There's a beautiful pastime actually that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was sitting here in Godrumadvipa, and he was every evening for many, many days, he had smelt this incredible fragrance while he was doing his bhajan, his writing, and he could smell this fragrance almost of a transcendental nature, didn't know what it was. And for many days, and he was thinking, what is this? What is this? What is this? And then he went into a deep meditation, really wanting to understand this. And he understood that actually Lord Nrsimhadev was rushing to the Gora Arti, and he was passing by, and his fragrance was emanating from him. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was experiencing that fragrance. So Nrsimhadev is as alive as are all the acharyas, as are Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so present in this land. And Nrsimhadev is as present as you allow him to be, as you are so fearless and courageous to accept his presence in life. Nrsimhadev will reciprocate with that, and he will smash to pieces any obstacle. Just like Mother Ganga, when we go to bathe in the Ganga, immediately all um, material, like the little nigglies on the uh, peripheral of the minds, just go away. It's like we get liberation every time we bathe in the Ganga. They all just disappear. It's like a miracle. So Nrsimhadev is the same. Nrsimhadev will clear any impediments, any disturbances, any troubles or worrisome uh, thoughts that obstruct our nishta. And also at this place, it's very wonderful to go and visit the temple that Srila Vamana Maharaj inspired, which is practically right next door. We would always take our breakfast prasadam there. And it's a small Nrsimhadev temple, very nice, closed. And there's 3 or 4 sevaks of Srila Vamana Maharaj there. They have beautiful murti of Srila Vamana Maharaj there, and beautiful deity of Nrsimhadev. And there is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati on the altar there being worshipped. So it's a very beautiful temple that we honor. When you come out onto the main road, one side goes to Navadvipa, to the bridge, and the other, you go the other way, the back, the way we've come, and you go maybe 500 yards, and it's on the left, right-hand side. As you go back, it's on the right-hand side. Just
On highway.
It's on the highway. It's right on the highway. It's halfway. When you come out of the dirt road before, then you come onto the sealed road and you walk to the Sringadev temple. That's about what, half a mile? So halfway between that dirt road and the Sringadev temple on the right as you go back. That's the Srila Vamana Maharaj, beautiful temple there. So now we're going to make our journey back, and we're going to pass through the beautiful forest of Madhyadvipa on the way back. These are also important to touch base with. So these are different pastimes about the saints and the rishis. So I'm going to read some of this today. So this is the Sapta Rishi Bhajan Stali. That's where we pass through on the way back. If we don't go back the same way that we came, the way we come through Suvarna-vihar generally, and we go that route. We come around. We come in a big circle. So we finally cross over the Ganga on the bridge, on the footbridge. That's how you get back to Navadvipa today, from Nrsimha-palli over the traffic bridge, rather the big traffic bridge. So on the way, there's the Saptarishi Bhajan Stali. Returning to Navadvipa from Nrsimha-palli, we pass through Madhyadvipa, sorry, where the Saptarishi Bhajan Stali is situated. This is the place where Brahma described the worship of Sri Gauranga and the coming Kali Yuga to the 7 sages, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulaha, Kratu, Pulasta, and Vashista. He described it, and it's said that they actually sat there and they meditated for many years, and then they had darshan directly of Lord Gauranga, who ordered them to be confidential about that darshan. This is mentioned also in the Navadvipa Mahatmya. It's described the 7 rishis here. In Satyayuga, the rishis began singing the glories of Gora in their father's presence. Completely absorbed, they begged for the eternal treasure of Gora Prem. Lord Rama then pleased with his 7 sons and told them, "Go to Navadvipa and sing the glories of Gora. Then you will easily attain Prem. Whoever gets the mercy of the Dham gets the association of devotees. Then by worshipping in the association of devotees, you will become absorbed in Krishna Prem." I'm reading from Navadvipa Dham Mahatmya. This is the supreme activity. Whoever gets attraction for Navadvipa will receive the benediction of living in Braj. To live in the spiritual Dham and recite the name of Gaur is the only aspiration of the devotees. The seven rishis took their father's instruction to heart and came to this place. When they arrived, they engaged in dancing and chanting the name of Hari. They begged for Gora Prem while singing the Lord's glories in a loud voice. O Gora Hari, be merciful and reveal yourself to us just once. Being offenders, we have followed many paths, but now we are taking to the path of devotional service. Yeah, the rishis and yogis, etc., for them it's a very big step to actually take to the path of devotional service because the apparent mystic opulences are extraordinary and they will distract away from the necessity for devotion. It's like the something external, the external phantasmagoria of mystical wonderland can be very attractive and can deviate one's devotion mood. Being offenders, we have followed many paths, but now we are taken to the path of devotional service. The rishis underwent severe austerities and became firmly situated in devotional service by worshipping Gauranga. They completely gave up eating and sleeping and simply recited the name of Gaura. Around noon, Madhyana, the all-merciful Lord Gauranga appeared before the rishis. The Lord was as brilliant as 100 suns, and he attracted the minds of the yogis. He had to be as brilliant as 100 suns because yogis, they need that kind of, like in Varanasi, when Mahaprabhu was attracting those Mayavadis, he exhibited a huge aura because that's what they would respond to. How extraordinary was that form! His form had a beautiful golden hue. Around his neck was a garland of flowers, and his glittering ornaments illuminated all directions. His glance was beautiful. His hair was long and curled, and a dot of sandalwood decorated his forehead. He wore threefold cloth of shining thread, and his neck was decorated with a beautiful jasmine garland. Seeing this form, the rishis were enchanted, and they humbly petitioned, we surrender to your lotus feet. Please give us devotion. Devotion. This is what we pray for. This is why we're performing this Navadvipa Parikrama. We only want devotion. What else do we want? We want genuine, real devotion, that current of devotion to be inspired in the heart. When Lord Gauranga disappeared, the seven rishis went to Kurmahata. At this place now, you see seven tilas, seven hillocks. These seven hills are arranged in the same pattern as the seven rishis in the sky, the constellation of the Sapta Rishis. By living here, one will receive Gaurahari without having to undergo a strict process of rules and regulations, because that will create too much Aishwarya Bhav. And then I'll just continue because the next place we come to is Naimisharanya.
Maharaj, that the duration of their tapasya was much lesser, I think. It was not in years.
I don't understand.
The duration of the seven rishis, their tapasya,
Yes,
before they had the darshan,
yes.
I think it was much shorter time.
What? Not what Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying?
No, no, no. You mentioned they were doing it for years.
Aha. Yes, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur says no, it
No.
wasn't so long. So
Yes.
maybe this is a mistake here. Yeah. To the south of this, and we're walking. We're walking south from the Nrsimha-palli back to Keshavji Gaudiya Math. That's where we're staying. That's what our Parikrama book is indicating. So south from there. We are north is behind me. So Nrsimha-palli is off to the east, and we went to the southeastern corner of the Goromandal, and now we're walking back again towards our mutt there. At to the south of this, um, there is a stream, the very pure Gomati River. Beside it is Naimisharanya. At the beginning of Kali Yuga, the rishis headed by Sonaka heard about Gauranga from the mouth of Sutta Goswami. Whoever reads the Purana here during the month of Kartik becomes free from all distress, becomes absorbed in the pastimes of Gauranga, and easily attains Vrindavan. Giving up his bull carrier, Shiv once mounted Sri Hamsa Vahan, Brahma's swan, and came here to hear the recitation of the Puranas. So there's Hamsa Bhavan, it's called actually, and it's where Lord. That's on a road quite close by here. So like a large, very thatch. It's a thatched roof, and there is the beautiful remembrance of this Naimisharanya and Brahma's swan, and came here to hear the recitation of the Puranas. Along with his followers, he sang the glories of Gora. While singing and dancing, the followers surrounded Shivji and shouting the name of Gora Hari threw heaps of flowers all around in a very festive way. So, of course, this is describing Jiva and Nityananda roaming around in this land. So, these are two of the places where we're going to pass through. And also, we're going to pass by this Brahman Pushkar, this Pushkar Tirtha on the way back. And the present name is Vamana Poka or Vamana Pura. In such a yuga, a Brahmana named Jivan Das came here while visiting all the holy places. His ardent desire to take bath in Pushkar Tirtha made him very restless. As he slept that night, a divine voice said, "Remain here for some time whilst chanting the holy name, and your desire will be fulfilled." He wanted to have darshan of Pushkar. He made a hut and remained there for the rest of his life. In his very old age, Tirtharaj Pushkar mercifully appeared in the form of a beautiful pond. Upon taking his bath, the Brahmana was blessed with a divine vision in which he directly saw Tirtharaj Pushkar. Pushkar then told the Brahmana, "O Brahmana, whatever benefit a person attains by taking 100 baths in all the holy places, he attains by residing in Navadvipa Dham for just one night. Therefore, I will also reside here eternally, along with all the holy places on earth. In the upcoming Kali Yuga, Sri Gaurasundar will manifest in Navadvip and distribute Krishna Prem through the chanting of his holy names. You will take birth at that time and have the fortune of seeing those pastimes." So that was the fortune of that Brahmana who
Yes.
worshipped Pushkar,
So,
Pushkar Tirtharaj.
so how many nights you have spent in Navadvip Maharaj?
Yes, but I'm so fallen that I need a billion, trillion lives to actually make up for one. But you've taken your birth here in this Bharat Vash. You are 2 or 3 lifetimes ahead of me. So your mercy will be thicker. So now Uchahata is written as one of there's two more places, and then we've actually completed our parikrama for today. So this is Kurukshetra within Brahmavart. Brahmavart. On one side flows the Saraswati River. This Jalangi is the Saraswati River, but it's called locally Jalangi. But if you look on Google Maps, you'll see that it comes from many different sources. There's many tributaries, and one of those tributaries is the very large Saraswati. So that river here is the Saraswati right here, but locally they call it the Jalangi.
Jalan.
And when we remember the Saraswati, we always remember that Vedavyas had his hermitage on the bank. Samya Prashna, it's called. His ashram was there where Narada Rishi visited him when he felt despondent about the uh, lack of taste that before he had that revelation in his heart, knowing about Brajendra Nandan, knowing about Vrindavan. That was, and also Kapila Dev, when his ashram near uh, Ganga Sagar, the ocean, that also is on the Saraswati. But we'll discuss that in the next place, actually, the Panchaveni. So on one side flows the Saraswati River, and on the other side flows Drishavati. Taking all his associates with him, Mahaprabhu passed through Brahman Pushkar and came here while performing kirtan with 14 mridangas. All the demigods would come with loudly chant Gaura's name in unison and narrate his pastimes. Therefore, this place is called Uchahata. Ucha means in a loud voice, and Hata means gathering. It is also known as Hatadanga, which means the place where the demigods assemble. If one always resides in Navadvip and performs bhajan here, one will quickly attain Gaurasundar's mercy. What to speak if one performs parikrama during this month, this week prior to Mahaprabhu's advent? Then so much kripa will actually come to that soul who performs parikrama at that time. And then the last place is the Panchaveni. The Panchaveni, as we cross over that bridge, it's just right there. It's situated near Uchahata. It is the confluence of the Mandakini, Alakananda, and Saraswati, which is hidden. So at that time, the Saraswati is actually hidden at that time. On the western side of Ganga, on the western side, the
Panchavini.
Ganga meets with the Bhogavati and Manasaganga. This place is glorious as Mahaprayag. Grandsire Brahma performed millions of sacrifices on Ganga's two banks. If a living entity dies here, in the water, on the land, or in the sky, he effortlessly attains Sri Golokadam. All rivers converge here to perform service to Sri Gora. There is no other holy place in the 14 planetary systems equal to this Panchaveni. Amazing, huh? Absolutely amazing. These are the glories and specialities of all of Goradam. And we are so blessed just to be here. During this week, during this parikrama time, to be remembering and hearing all these places when we're not really having all these places reinforced with their um, pastimes, etc. We tend to just forget. They become obscure, they become misty in the mind. We don't know their potencies and gifts that they can bestow. So it's very wonderful. So Navadvipa Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Godrum-dvipa ki jai,
Jai.
Madhyadvipa ki jai,
Jai.
Sachinandan Gaurahari ki jai,
Jai.
Nityananda Rai ki jai,
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bo. 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh, Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Radha
Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur,
Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur.
Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari,
Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari.
O Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe,
Jaya Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe,
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
O Radhe, 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 Radhe. Navadvipa Dham ki jai,
Jai,
Godrum-dvipa ki jai,
Jai,
Madhyam-dvipa ki jai, Srila
Jai,
Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai,
Jai,
Arupanuga Guru Varya ki jai,
Jai,
Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai,
Jai.
Gaur
Hari
Premanande,
Hari
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 Bol.
Bol, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyascha, Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha, Gaur Premanande. So tomorrow is Champahata, Vidyanagar, Samudragar, and Radhakund, Ritudvip. So very exciting day tomorrow also. Navadvipa Parikrama ki jai.